Welcome back to Slow News Day Live. I'm Steve Poikinen. I'm with Jason Carney. I am sorry about that. My laptop went, I'm going to shut down right now, right while you're in the middle of laying it out about Elizabeth Warren. And you did a good job of getting the fundamentals out there. Um, Elizabeth Warren was a Republican until it was politically expedient for her to become a Democrat. Uh, she not only pays Elizabeth Warren is a soundbite candidate. She's a soundbite progressive. What Elizabeth Warren does is she talks really, really, really professorially and tough to people in suits who she takes money from, who, when she writes legislation regulating them, makes it toothless to begin with, and always negotiates from a point of compromise. It, to pretend like she's some kind of champion is ridiculous. Um, it's it's not just it's not just that she abandoned uh it's not just that she abandoned who progressives thought she was in 2016 when she endorsed Hillary and went and fucking held hands with her and plastered on that, oh God, I hope this pays off grin. And fucking, it's not that she remained silent on the Dakota Access Pipeline until it was far too late for anyone to care. It's not that she took Hillary Clinton's consultants and listened to them and did what she said and took a fucking stupid ass DNA test that proved that she fucking was like what, a 64th or a 1064th or whatever the fuck it was. Like,
it wasn't even worth mentioning.
At the direction of a fucking game show host, because he taunted her on Twitter and in front of people. Like, yeah, it's fucking dumb that she listened to those people, but she's there because people see her as the reasonable alternative to Bernie Sanders. They think that she's they think that she's got his policies because she does play Bernie Sanders' greatest hits every time she goes out. But again, she's been subsidized by the securities industry. She's weak on Medicare for all. But what she does is she portrays this like air of professorial responsibility, and people get this false sense that she's going to be a steady and stable hand to guide us through these troubled times. And I'm here to fucking tell you that unless you're part of the 1% right now, Elizabeth Warren is not your fucking candidate. She's there ultimately to be the Judas goat. She's going to pull as many people away from Bernie Sanders as possible. She's going to lend credibility to the narrative that he's struggling, that he doesn't have the support that he had. When it comes down to debate time, they're going to give fucking this soundbite candidate all the room in the world to wax poetic on what have been Bernie Sanders' policy positions for fucking God knows how long. And then they'll turn to Bernie and be like, Bernie Sanders, same thing. And he'll every single time have to be like, well, I have to agree with Elizabeth Warren. And fucking.
But if he has the caveat, I was there first, that would probably help a lot.
Yeah, but again, he will come off as this bitter, rude, sexist old man who is going to be like, but give me credit. You need to give me credit for
Oh,
my
but
idea.
wait. She might be accusing that, but she's trying to co-opt the Native American people by saying that she is one of them, lying, trying to use the pain, suffering, and indignities that have been foisted upon the Native Americans.
I mean, really though, really, she gone out there and been like, we all family. Fucking, I'll tell you what, dude, we can talk about the struggle over some fry bread. Like, I guarantee you that shit is not happening. I guarantee you.
But you see the
Fucking,
hypocrisy there.
well, she's Jordan Peterson for liberals, Jay. Of course she's going to
Yeah,
be a hypocrite.
that's a good analogy right there. That's actually spot on. All right, you ready for the last three? The first tier. We went through a long list. We've
Yeah,
gone
I
through
gotta ask
together
though, am I
20
allowed
people.
to say that Dave? You what? Go ahead.
All right. This first tier is name recognition money. It is in 2 out of the 3 cases the Democratic machine working in full force. One candidate here has the capability from going a first tier to nothing very quickly if he opens his mouth. We all know who that is. But my final 3, I won't even play, the reveal game. I'll tell you it's Harris, Biden, and Senator Sanders. All 3 senators. Senator Harris from California, Biden from Connecticut, former former vice president from the state of Connecticut, and Senator Sanders from Vermont. Again, name recognition, money. In 2 out of the 3, that would be Biden and Harris. They have the Democratic machine going full bore. Lots of flaws here that we could point out and we can pick through. Harris not prosecuting certain members of Trump's cabinet when they were in California doing illegal activities. Senator Harris's kind of hypocritical statements on social justice. Senator Biden for being an out and out racist at certain points, for groping women, a litany of things that seem to be forgiven by Democratic women, and some other elements that have a zero tolerance policy for anybody else doing it. But if a Democrat does it, it's fine. And Senator Sanders, with his very milquetoast response to some serious issues of the day, i.e., Julian Assange. This is your top tier. Name recognition, money, and the political machine backing it. If I had to pick of the 3, obviously I'd go Senator Sanders, without a question. It's sad. This is our first tier. I don't think there can be any arguments. Those are the top 3 as far as I've been able to deduce.
No, and I would just like to point out that you don't get to be a top tier Democratic candidate for president unless you either are an insurgent with a death wish or you're following orders. I don't think Bernie Sanders is an insurgent with a death wish, but I do think he genuinely believes in the process. And I don't know how he could this far into the game.
Right.
But
that's not naivety, that's willful ignorance.
Well, it's being part of the machine to whatever degree he's comfortable with for whatever it's worth out of it,
Right.
I feel like that should be stated. You're right about Biden. I honestly, I don't know if he'll make it to the convention. I really don't. He is the Delaware daughter sniffer, and fucking there's just a litany of horror stories that have yet to come out about this cat. Are you all right, man?
The Delaware daughter sniffer. I fucking love it. That is the best thing ever.
I do. Real quick, I will say this about Elizabeth Warren. She's created a template for fake progressives to follow. I know I think I said that last night on the show, but this bears repeating. Like, there is a template now, a soundbite template and a clapback template that you can follow successfully. And Elizabeth Warren really paved the way for that. You can introduce legislation that'll never get passed to fucking beef up your progressive bona fides. You can fucking condense yelling at an executive into a 2 minute and 8 second clip that can be shared on Twitter because it's under the limit. You can go on The Daily Show and you can go on fucking Fox News. You know, like you have that freedom of movement to do that, and you can espouse progressive ideals knowing that they will never have to see the light of day, or if they do, they'll be so watered back and toothless it'll look like the fucking Consumer Financial Protection Bureau.
Right.
But Elizabeth Warren has been able to do that, and Kamala Harris is one of those people who has benefited from it.
Absolutely.
The reason a lot of people are familiar with Kamala Harris is because of her grilling a couple of different fucking people, and one of them was the fucking little intelligence agency clusterfuck that was the Kavanaugh hearing, where fucking.
What was funny is I'm reading the San Francisco Chronicle, and they noted her biggest legislative achievement, which happened toward the tail end of the last session of Congress. Her biggest legislative achievement, and bear with me when I say this, is to make lynching a federal crime. That's something that passed 100% in the Senate. All 100 senators voted for it. When your biggest achievement is common sense, that is an issue to me.
So here's the thing, man. I remember when Kamala Harris got elected. I don't know if you do or not. Her opponent for Attorney General was a literal fucking authoritarian, hard right, blonde-haired, blue-eyed poster boy for the fucking Lebensborn, and was not shy about it. And Kamala Harris basically said, I'm not going to be as openly mean as this guy.
Right.
And woman of color. And Willie Brown, but we don't talk about that anymore. But Willie Brown, you know, like she was part of the machine at that point.
Oh, for sure.
But when she got to the Senate, she followed, instead of, you know, trying to lock up a homeless mom because her kids missed too much school, or fucking promoting cover to pedophile priests, or refusing to reinvestigate the RFK fucking assassination, or providing not just cover but aid to Steve Mnuchin and One West Bank while they foreclosed on people like our friend Graham Elwood.
People seem to overlook.
What, her cozy relationship with the Treasury Secretary, who keeps donating to her, or kept donating to her campaigns until he held a fucking cabinet position, that guy, and his fucking
I was a bad guy for being one of the first people to bring that up. I was a horrible person for writing about that. You know, I was the Antichrist. What can I say?
That picture of Steve Mnuchin and his fucking wife holding up the Mnuchin bucks, you know the one I'm talking about? It's like they're like pushing and shoving to get to the front of the line for the guillotine. Like they're just coming out and fighting over
it. Begging for the pitchforks and the torches to be broken out. Now, to be fair, we covered
Democrats,
and I don't want anybody to think that we're so uberly biased that we just hate Democrats. I'm going to go over the GOP list for those that plan on running against Donald Trump in the 2020. That would be John Kasich, former governor of Ohio. That'd be Larry Hogan, former governor, or current governor, of Maryland. And last but not least, Bill Weld, former two-term governor and representative, I believe. I know he's governor of the state of Massachusetts.
And also Joe Biden.
And all three are incompetent, absolute imbeciles who are just pro-fascist, even though they may tell you otherwise. They put a kinder face on fascism. And they're scum that don't deserve to be even brought up in the same words as, you know, honorable and candidate and things of that nature. So there's to satisfy anybody who thinks that we just have a very anti-democratic bias.
It also appears that, or the rumor is that it looks like that Howie Hawkins is going to be the Green Party's nominee for president.
Right.
And if you do not know who Howie Hawkins is, he's a fucking lifelong activist. He's a pretty cool dude. Um, he's also a 70-some-year-old white guy, and it seems like the Green Party can only produce
Old people.
well, old white people and occasionally a John Mubaraka or Cynthia McKinney.
Right.
And they get treated like they're black and running in the Green Party.
Right.
And
The
it's
Green
fucking
Party,
disgusting.
I didn't bring them up
Pardon?
because there's no point in doing it. I mean, I'm not trying to be harsh.
Shout out to Howie Hawkins for his lifetime of activism.
Yeah.
And he's spoken at length about the Venezuela Embassy Protection Collective. And like said, man, he's a fairly good dude all around. He's got a ton of fucking blind spots like everybody in the Green Party does, because I'm pretty fucking sure they're controlled opposition.
I'm not attacking him. I'm not attacking him. And anybody in the Green Party that thinks I am is myopic. I'm telling you, I'm telling the Green Party this. If you want to be viable, start actually being a political organization. Start having grassroots, start having high school reach outs, college organizations, start being in the community, start winning some elections, start advocating more. Being a party of protest is cute and it'll only get you so much coverage. Bring viable candidates to the table because there are plenty of people in the Green Party who would make great candidates. Stop being try to be so cool and niche that you're outside of the establishment, blah blah blah, and keep losing, or hire some political operatives, as I've said in the past, individuals like myself that know what we're talking about, or just stop running and wasting our time. I mean, at the end of the day, this guy's a fantastic dude, super guy. Nothing about that.
You never
But stop
mentioned
wasting our
Gravel.
time.
You never mentioned Gravel.
Oh, that's true, but third tier
And
status.
I love Mike
Not his fault.
Gravel.
Not his fault.
Yeah, I love Mike Gravel.
He's in the Tulsi. He's in the Tulsi category.
I love what he's doing. I hope that he at least gets onto a debate stage. If not, I hope he does what fucking Rand Paul did and goes to like, Twitter headquarters or some social media platform and fucking live reacts to the debate.
Right.
On social media. I don't see why the kids that run his shit wouldn't suggest that if he gets boxed out of it. If this gets to the kids that run his account, if he gets boxed out of it, totally do that. Fucking have fucking Mike sit there, have him eat like an edible or two and react to the debate on camera. Fuck.
Well, we are going to. So, I mean, maybe we need to make a phone call or two. Maybe grab him and a couple of other potential candidates and
drive over to San Francisco.
I'm just throwing it
He's
out there.
in San Francisco.
That's what I'm saying. We need to have a roundtable.
Yeah.
I don't think that'd be a bad idea. And we could grab a couple of our other friends and try to bring them on. And we could sit around and analyze the stupidity that is known as the debates on both sides.
Do it at a comedy club.
Fuck yeah, shit, yeah. That goes without saying.
That's only if he gets boxed out of the debate and some by fucking stretch of the imagination any of that actually takes place. But hey, universe, it's out there now. Make that shit happen.
Make it happen, because that would be gold. That would be gold.
At any rate,
can I inject two things? One, the Bruins are up on the Blues in the Stanley Cup Finals 3-2 with 2 minutes and 13 seconds left in the third period. The rest of America, I don't blame you. That sounds like nonsense. The third period, hockey only has 3 periods, so that's their fourth quarter. And secondly, Bill Buckner passed away recently. Red Sox legend. Unfortunately, will be mired in history for the ball that went through his legs in the '86 World Series. The man was a philanthropist, a great baseball player, and should be remembered for more than one error. Unfortunately, that's what's been linked to him. And he passed, I believe he had a form of dementia. He's been battling that for years now. And sadly, he passed away at 69. So those are two things I want to throw in. that might be of important or interest to people in the audience.
I'm for the Bruins winning the Stanley Cup this year. I'll say that again. Go for the original 6 team.
But yeah, that's all I got. That's all.
Back to yeah, and again, not to slight Mike Gravel, man. I respect what he's doing. I when he first announced, I was like, holy shit, that's a viable Vermin Supreme. And Vermin Supreme announced too, which is great, dude. Like it's a fucking cartoon. There might as well be some goddamn comic relief in it,
right?
Man. And that's
I didn't leave him off the list as a sign of disrespect. That wasn't. It's just it totally. I was looking at viability. I was looking at a lot of other factors to whittle down the list. To put candidates in a first, second, and third tier and then go public with it, that's your name attached with it. So I wanted it to be as well-researched, well thought out as possible. And it was an honest, slip, I suppose, for leaving him out. There's nothing personal, nothing against the man. And again, if come debate time, we can get him and a couple other of our friends together and hit one of the comedy clubs either in San Francisco, hell, even Sacramento, Oakland, anywhere in that region, especially the Bay Area, and we just make a live audience. Have them come in, and I think that could be a lot of fun. I would love to have him and some others associated.
And when that happens, and it's people with bigger shows than this, I'm not gonna be mad. I'm not.
Jimmy, we're talking to you. Idea. Jimmy, we're talking to you. We're talking to you, Ron. There's a lot of people we're talking to. You know who you are. Don't act silly, Lee. We know you're watching. We know you're watching, Lee. Come on now.
Kamala Harris is it's fucking. She doesn't. She's not even a fucking top tier candidate in her home state, man. There's
the Democratic machine, man.
Her viability is related only to how desperate the people who hate Bernie Sanders have become. That's true for fucking CIAP. That's true for Elizabeth Warren. That's true for Joe Biden. Like it depends on manipulation, rigged polls, and fucking media blackouts, hit pieces, fucking limited coverage. It's all of that is purely dependent on what they're looking at is who can peel the most votes away from Bernie Sanders, and whoever that is at the moment is who is going to receive the focus.
Right.
And if that's Joe Biden right now, it's Joe Biden right now only because he's fucking wrapped himself up in a black man and he's fucking wearing him like a fucking sweater and he's fucking trying to make you feel like good old Uncle Joe can fucking knock out the fucking bad orange man. And it's so fucking insulting and it's so goddamn like ridiculous that again, you don't get to be a top tier candidate for the Democratic Party nomination for president if you're not just fucking garbage or you have a death wish. That's fucking it.
Yeah. Again, I'll do a quick summation and a wrap up for myself. Tonight was meant to be comical, but it was also meant to be informative. My sincerest hopes is that people are now aware of the 23 candidates, understanding of why we have such vitriol against a vast majority of these candidates, and to go out and do a little bit of research on their own to figure out why this is a slap in the face to every member of the electorate. Doesn't matter if they're Democrat, Republican, or independent. This is an out-and-out insult toward anybody who is a progressive, a leftist, a socialist, DSA. It doesn't matter what you call yourself if you're on the left. We need to wake up to the reality that the duopoly has been injured since 2016, and they're going to lash out, and they're going to do things like this. And it's up to us to keep the momentum up, to keep the fight going, to keep going at them until we weaken them to the point where we can easily drown them in a bathtub, if you will. We cannot afford to sit on our laurels at this point. We have to keep going, keep fighting, and keep informing people and trying to get more and more to wake up to the reality that the duopoly is it's coming hard. It's coming fast. Steve spoke last night of an economic crash potentially happening in August, definitely going into 2020. Um, Not only economically are we screwed under the current system, we're also, when it comes to foreign policy, when it comes to our education system, infrastructure. Crybaby Trump is having a temper tantrum and saying he won't work with Democrats to help a infrastructure bill, which is desperately needed for our nation's roads, bridges, etc. Um, there's a multitude of things that you have to wake up to. And I'm not saying this audience specifically. That's why I would love if you would spread this like a virus, a very fast acting virus, because people need to wake the hell up to the reality of this situation. We want to be the AIDS of politics. I'm just throwing that
Are
out there.
you fucking
We want to be the AIDS of politics. We
Jesus
want to spread
Christ?
it and we want to take over and we want to dominate until the system's dead. So at the end of the day, let us be the AIDS of
That's
politics.
Jason Carney all up in you, like full blown egg. I don't know if I want to put that on a T-shirt, homie. I don't. I'm not sold on that. I'm
That's
not.
going to be tied to me forever now. That's great.
So Pete Wildfire in the chat points out that the California Democratic Convention is this coming weekend. I have already had to take too much time off in the month of June. Is June gonna be June? Yeah. Already, which is like a total of 2 days in a fucking switch shift.
I don't think
In
they'll
my
let me go near it.
too much time off. But what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try and set up a live interview with Pat and his character Nate's liver. Because somehow that motherfucker got press credentials and a videographer to go to the Dem convention and cover it. So what I'm going to try and do is catch him like Sunday morning-ish. Because there will be presidential candidates there. It will be, something that we're probably going to want to talk about. I know for a fact that I am trying my damnedest to get to the Free Assange event on the 12th of June.
We need to do a live show there.
And then, yeah. What has got? Oh, I gotta read this out loud. This is mystery. Mystery. Hallucinogenics should be made a prerequisite to public service. If you can't handle the unexpected, you're underqualified. And I gotta say that, like, it seems a little reverse Circus Maximus-y to, like,
yeah,
lay out a bunch of politicians and see what, because I don't imagine that this would be like an okay, you hang out with a potential candidate for public office or a candidate for higher office, and it's like you and this person and you're fucking kicking it. I can only imagine that this would be something that we would want to do with an audience,
right? For sure.
And I really am kind of imagining, like, not necessarily a debate size place, but like Madison Square Garden,
an auditorium of some type,
or like the Greek Theater in Berkeley. That would be like an amphitheater. It seems fitting. It really does.
Or Orpheum in San Francisco.
But yeah, you gotta dose like at least a half a dozen, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like, I don't know. Is anybody with me on this? Oh yeah, strap a GoPro to him and dose him. I can get down with that. I can, but I think there would have to be like a large number of them all at once, and I think that you would have to broadcast that shit in front of both a live audience and nationally, because when they started peaking, I can't imagine that would go well for anyone in public office,
Right.
especially anyone who's been in there long enough to know where way too many bodies are buried.
Right. I no disagreement.
Like, I know that Frank Underwood is supposed to be a character, right? But I've met some of these scumbags, and
Mm-hmm.
yo,
Makes Underwood look like a saint, right?
um, I'm gonna go back to my original top five for president, and still say that, like, I am for worker uprising
Oh
for
yeah.
my top tier choice. Um, I don't see how one banking institution, JP Morgan, having 2/3 of all derivatives available is a good idea, because that's their gambling money.
It's not going to end well for us.
And it's fucking bad loans that can then get bundled again with bad auto loans, and then fucking halfway decent fucking loans.
Adjustable rate mortgages. That's what brought us down in 07, 08.
Well, and here's the thing, man. People have been predicting that, like, people are going to start defaulting on their car loans
Mm-hmm.
at a high enough rate to trigger a fucking offset in the CDOs and the bundled fucking credit default obligations. That's
Mm-hmm.
what they are. Yeah.
And it's going to be up to the government, which, let's be real, if it's a Trump led government, he's not going to come in and swoop in like Obama did and save the car industry, like was done at the time in 2008. Um, this is going to be cataclysmic if it all plays out, as has been stated by some really not conspiracy theory bending or leaning types. These people are intellectuals, they're academics, they are economists, they are people who are in the field predicting this. This isn't doom and gloom. This is they're screaming like we're trying to scream from a political angle. They're screaming from an economic angle. You guys better get your shit straight. Make sure you get all your affairs in order because it's about to get real.
Yeah, and look, man, if our money is all bullshit anyway, it's free floating fucking fiat currency. I understand that the entire MMT movement is based on, we have a way to fucking fix this shit. Um, when our economy collapses, that would be a fucking ideal time for uh, China and Russia to introduce their international currency. If that happens, all the fiat currency in the world isn't going to do you any good if it's fucking devalued as fuck internationally, and we're trying to operate in a global economy.
And let's be real too. Russia being involved in that is irrelevant. They're, for all their bluster, are still a backwaters country that.
Oh, I get that, but they get a cut. They get a cut for
right.
being.
It's
they
all
get a
China.
cut for essentially being the bagman for that whole deal.
Right. It's China. It's China's current. It's going to be the push. It used to be the euro. It would have been if not for Brexit. Euro was being looked at as a possible international currency for a long time.
Yeah, and
Until you had this destabilization.
We had already been downgraded internationally at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Not
so I mean,
that
at the end of
long
the day,
ago.
it's and this is where I wish more people were aware of international relations. That's my concentration in my degree. This is kind of my bag, my home, my wheelhouse, if you will. There's a lot of things, factors that come into play, but what the United States is doing is exactly playing into the position of a well-placed trap by definitely by China. And I don't fault them for it. I'm not going to get uber nationalistic and say, "Oh, those evil Chinese." They've played this out very remarkably well. They've kept their currency undervalued. They've kept it depressed intentionally. They've been able to boom. Now, I believe this year their GDP is only going to be around 1.5 to 2%, which is slow in their terms. It's good in most other nations' terms, borderline great, but they've had to slow down as well. The constant friction with the tariffs between the United States and China, there's so many indicators showing that America is in its last days as the single superpower. China's played this very well. They've played the long game. They've been very smart about it. They've been influencing people around the world, whether it be in Africa, South America, the Middle East, and in many parts of Europe. They're not playing this game to lose. And that's not to play fearmonger or to be anti Chinese. I'm not. I respect the hell out of what they've done on the international stage. But America has consistently not been able to get its shit straight long enough to have a cohesive, singular voice on anything, whether it be economics or anything else. And that would be because capitalism has literally destroyed this nation. It's destroyed its interest abroad, domestically. Every facet of it has been screwed up by greed and capitalism. And so China coming in and doing this while we're on the decline, it's not a surprise and it's nothing to get pissed off about. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Was that too much?
Holy shit. No, dude, that's fucking funny. That is. That's funny. When you see this shit coming down the line, it sounds a little bit far-fetched, but there's always economic indicators. There's shit like a drop in housing prices on the coast. And when I say like August, dude, what I mean is when the economy collapses, you feel it on the coast for like 6 months before it hits the rest of the world because once the fucking Rust Belt goes to shit, international markets once the mortgages go, really.
You're familiar with Watsonville, right?
Oh yeah.
I was looking at a house there, and because it's kind of in the perfect position, it's close to Santa Cruz, it's close to the ocean, it's a quiet little area, and it's typically pricey. So I was looking about a year and a half ago, and the house I was looking at that's been on the market for 15 months started out about $900,000. I just recently saw it yesterday, and it's being at the asked for price of $650,000, which in California terms, and it's a really nice house too. In California terms, is cheap.
Yeah,
especially for the proximity to
farmland, gangland, and fucking new cannabis businesses.
Mm-hmm. It's coming. All the indicators are there. It's just people either are too scared to approach it, or they're blissfully ignorant and trying to keep up and maintain the facade that everything's okay. We're going to figure it out. We're America. We always figure it out. Blah, 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 blah.
Well, I mean, we're starting to see climate refugees. We're starting to see more and more homeless in large population centers. We're starting to see people, the large population centers expanding, but more and more people moving out of rural areas. And when shit like that happens, and there's an economic collapse, and there's been a steady push towards authoritarianism, to the point where everything in the fucking Bill of Rights is an absolute fucking joke. The entire fucking sociopathic and corrupt by design system has somehow only spit out sociopathic legislation written by corrupt individuals. It's fucking weird. The one thing the US government designs right is the system that only rewards people for falling up and fucking acting like fucking absolute fucking tyrants.
Greed is good.
So it's the national religion. It's the predominant supernatural belief system in the country. Uh,
It's
and I
the
think
number one religion.
I don't know. That theory's been put forth a couple of times by a handful of different people. I don't see a lot of reason to argue it. Um,
I'm a
but
convert.
then I suppose like true communism is also a fucking supernatural belief system. I think as long as you're tied to what my good friend Ben Balderson calls Goldveg, you're you're cut off from ascension. And I think that that's what we need collectively as humanity is at least ascension on the level of we move beyond this thing that we're chasing, that we've dedicated our lives to and traded all of our pursuits in exchange for the ability to hold on to this thing and keep it warm long enough to hand to somebody else so that we can continue to chase it.
Dialectical materialism. It's a blast.
I'm trying to. If you got to split, man, you got to split. I'm trying to
Yeah.
run down
Well, to
the.
the audience, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for the questions. Again, if you disagree with me on any of my tiers, let me know. It's fun to have debate. It's fun to argue about these things, but know that it wasn't the decisions weren't arrived to in haste. It was researched, it was looked at, and it was using a lot of demographics, trends, etc. It should be interesting, and we're going to have more fun as we slip into primary season in a couple of months. It's going to be a blast, and I really appreciate everybody getting out there and sharing the hell out of this, getting people talking about this, things of that nature. And we appreciate you guys and gals and people of non-binary gender assignment roles tuning in and watching and especially sounding off. So you guys have a wonderful night. I'm out of here. Steve, as always, it's been
All
a
right,
pleasure.
good idea. We'll see you soon, man.
All right. Later, brother.
Jason Carney, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, Sometimes you're jealous of hail boppers. You know what, man? That's a level of dedication that I just don't know if I'm capable of. Like, not even the self castration thing, just there's this comment, and if we follow these steps, we can then get on the comet, and the comet will, I don't know what, take you to the diner at the end of the universe. Like I can't remember what their end game was. If if you know what the end game of the Hailbot people was, I would like to. I would be interested in that. I would be interested in what the reward for all that was. Slick matching outfits aside, I think matching outfits is a sure sign that something's going wrong, and I'm pretty sure that that was either a Carlin bit or a Bill Hicks bit. So I don't want to try and wax on that shit too much, but there's fucking something to be said for matching outfits and the fucking mentality that comes along with it. I encourage people from time to time to like test the waters to see if their friends might be starting a cult, and like to know when to back out is when they give you a robe that matches everybody else's robe, that's a slightly lighter shade of robe than the robe the person's wearing that's handing you the robe. Like that's a sure sign that you're in over your head. um yeah. So, okay. The assholes rather gut Mama Earth till she flips her poles and rely on crawling out of their bunkers later, thinking at least a couple prior mass extinctions were caused by megalomaniacs. Yeah, uh, I don't really know if I have time to go all into the mud flood stuff right now, man. Lindsay Sharman, who hosts Rogueways, who is part of the creative founder of the Eyes Open network that this show is a part of. Um, she's got a fantastic mud flood episode, and she's on YouTube. Um, it's entirely, I mean, it's entirely plausible that there have been more than one advanced civilization raised and destroyed. I don't, um, not going to discount that. Um, yeah, I would go check her show out if you want to, and then I'll go rewatch that episode, and we can come back at some other point and talk about that shit because it's pretty wild. I dig it. I enjoy talking about it. Um, oh, and if anybody's familiar with who Crow is, uh, Crow 777 Radio. Uh, Crow's a fucking really interesting cat with a fucking incredible show, and he has on crazy fucking uh, knowledgeable and fucking researched and like niche uh, authors and practitioners and content creators. And my friend Ben was just on. That episode will air Thursday. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and plug the whole fucking network while I'm at it. I probably don't do that enough, man. These are wonderful fucking people, and they make really, really, really good shows and really interesting shows. And I think more people should watch them. Um, Claude Furry hosts a show called Talking Nonsense. If you like talking and you like nonsense, you'll love Talking Nonsense. Um, John Brisson runs the website fixyourgut.com. He's got a decidedly non-pharmaceutical approach to Western medicine. Um, he's a bona fide healer, and he's got some fucking he's got some shit to say. Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Clay soldiers, buried sites. Yeah. Um, like I said, I'm certainly not gonna discount any of that shit, man. And I also think that there's a lot to be said for uh, the ability for matter and energy to be able to carry memory. And all the matter that is or was or will be is still here and was here and will be here. Um, we're all made up of the bits and pieces of all of that matter, regardless of what it previously was. So if some of that contains latent memory and it gets into somebody somewhere, uh, yeah, yeah, I believe all that shit. Um, I believe that it's all worth talking about at any rate. Um, is gonna do it for me, guys. If you're digging what we're doing, as always, fucking like, share. Um, but yeah, talk to your friends about all this shit, not just this show, but the stuff that we discuss here, because we do really feel like it's important to get out. Until then, this has been Slow News Day. I'm Steve Boykin, and good luck to us all.